Today we're going to talk about the best targets for your high-speed crossbow and using broadheads. Stay tuned. So one of the biggest calls I get all the time is, what target do I need for my crossbow when I'm shooting broadheads? Well, there's an overwhelming choice of targets, and I think it's first important to say that we're in no way affiliated with any target company. These are just what we use. I think it's important to know that we are just like you. We buy our stuff that we use, we test it, and we use what we like, and that's what we're going to show you today. So when it comes to crossbows and broadhead targets, we know it's an issue because it's already an issue with high-speed crossbows and field tips, right? A lot of targets, they're bearing in up to the fletching, they're ruining the fletching, some of them are getting stuck so hard you can't pull them out. So what are some of the best choices? Well, when you consider your crossbow and a broadhead, you really have to consider a couple things because, again, not all broadheads are created equal. We've talked about that in the past. And what I mean about that when we associate it with targets is, depending on your broadhead, you will see a different penetration in your target. So this is one of the reasons I am not a fan of most penetration tests, because it depends on the medium, what you're going to see, what you're going to get. For example, if you layer 60 layers of cardboard and you shoot that cardboard with a cut-on contact broadhead that's pointy, razor sharp at the tip, maybe it's a two-blade with bleeders, you are going to see incredible penetration in that cardboard. It's going to go way in. Now, when you consider another broadhead, maybe it's a fixed three-blade and it has a big Trocarr tip, and you shoot that cardboard, it is not going to perform as well. It's just the difference in penetration by design. However, both of those broadheads, when you consider a hunting situation, do exactly what they're supposed to do. They're great broadheads. So oftentimes I think we get really confused by what we're using for penetration testing. And why that's important here is you're going to see different penetration into your targets based on the broadhead you choose for your crossbow. Now, I'm not saying that you should choose a broadhead specifically because you want a target that's going to work well for you, last a long time, and not ruin your arrows. I'm just saying take that into consideration. So as we look at some of the targets we have here, these are kind of the ones that we've been sticking to and having great success with. If you are just shooting field tips, you can get away with a lot of bag targets, a lot of other targets. I really like spiderweb targets for field tips. They come out easy, they last a long time. It is a great target, as is all of these. But when it comes to broadheads, what are some of the great choices? Well, when we look at our choices here, this big shot has done well for us. However, I have seen when you get up into the 440 and up, you really start to bury into this target based on the broadhead. You could get all the way up to the fletching and could have some issues. Most of the time for what we're doing, especially compound, recurve, and crossbows that aren't high speed or heavyweight bolts, this target does suffice. The Reinhardt 18-1, you can't go wrong with this target. This is a tough target. It'll handle a lot of abuse for years and years. The issue with this target is you may have some difficulty at first removing your bolt. So you might have to get a bolt puller, really reef on it for a few times. Once this starts to soften up, it's really a great target. Now, I have gone through several of these 18-1s over the years, and here's an example of one that has been around since the beginning of time, okay? This one has been around forever. We have shot this from every angle. We have shot through it at every angle, and we actually will still use this on the corners here with pretty decent success, but not with the high-speed crossbow. But anyway, you can see this target will take a lot of abuse. It will be good for you, and you can use it with all of your broadheads. Now, some mechanicals, even if they're a practice head or locked in some position, you're going to have just a little bit of difficulty, especially at first for the first bunch of shots until this target gets a little bit of use, but it's going to stop your bolt. My favorite and the final target we're going to talk about today is Walk-On's Robin Cube. Now, this target has been the best for several reasons. First of all, if you watch any of our other videos, you'll see that this is the backstop for most everything we do, especially with the crossbow, because it's big. There's a lot of room here, and I like that. So as a crossbow guy, if you're trying to get some shots in from a long distance and you want to practice from a long way away, a little bit bigger target will be better for you. So it might be a good investment. What I like about this target is, of course, it has all these sides, it has all these options on it for what you could shoot at, different target styles, but the Broadhead side unzips, so you're not shooting through this material and you're shooting just into this foam padding type material here. Now, there's one disadvantage to this, is as you shoot this target over and over again, you will eventually start to pull out some of this material. However, it does such a good job, and it's so big, and you can turn it from the other side, that you should be able to get years and years out of this target unless you are really shooting a ton. Now, we have only used this side this year, and this has literally taken hundreds and hundreds of shots with broadheads out of the crossbow, and it's done very well. So this Robin Cube may be our top favorite, my personal top favorite, as far as stopping broadheads, because it really does a great job. It doesn't do any damage. You may lose some material over time, but I think you will see that the Robin Cube and the 18-1 might be their two best choices for crossbows with broadheads.